Good afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you tuned into every Saturday afternoon. We are here again doing the same thing we've been trying to do ever since we started the show in 2004. Trying to make sense out of a sensitive situation called the plight of veterans in the United States of America and the United States of America with the plight of veterans. Any given day in this country, over 200,000 servants, patrons are homeless in the streets of America. 22 veterans are committing suicide every day. Vietnam era veterans is the fastest dying generation of veterans ever. We got young veterans coming back into the community with bad discharges and they didn't even know they had. And the VA is whistling while we sleep. I'm here today doing the same thing. I got my sidekicks with me today, so I'm gonna be kind of laid back. I know they don't believe that, but no. I'm gonna tell you something. We've been trying to get Trish back on this show to do this package, man, ever since I took it. Ever since I took it. I mean, it worked for me. If it worked for me, it would work for anybody. And I'm gonna tell you something. I go in the Walmart a lot, looking at the vitamins and stuff that will help us with mental illness. And I bought a Omega 3 yesterday, Omega 3, just because somebody told me that gonna help me. Yeah. So I went and bought one. But you know what? I love what you do. So I need you to talk to us about that today, because some kind of way we got to get this packaged in the community. I was talking with a veteran I love, and I could sense his decompensation. He's going through a lot. He's going through a lot right now. And the mental decompensation, he was hyped. How you just get, when you're you get hyped. But he's a worker. And it bothers me because I know when that hype come on, nobody can deal with you.
Right.
Really? You're more of a problem than a help, but you think you on top of it. And that's Trish. Thank you, baby, for being here today, because I've been wanting to talk. I want to talk about your product. I want to talk about your organization, because I know that can help.
Thank you.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you for always, believing in what we do. What we do at Veterans of Virtue is really just try to find the most holistic and healthy ways to combat stress, anxiety, depression, and really what it is, not only just the package, because the package is something that you can probably find anywhere, right, when it comes to what the contents of it is. But the thing is, like, the information too that we have, we're addressing mental health, behavioral health, emotional health, financial, we're covering a whole gamut of all the stresses that a veteran can go through, especially transitioning from military to civilian life. And when you don't have that support, when you don't have that information, that resource, we're trying to be that. And we're definitely trying to disrupt the suicide rate that is really just have gotten out of control. And like you said, really when you're in that kind of an episode, no one really knows how to deal with you but you sometimes, right? And the more information you get, the more, especially what we talk about is mind management. Like how your thoughts, how are you thinking, what are you eating, what are you watching, what are you subjecting yourself to? And knowing that you can heal yourself, you can really control your thoughts, which controls your anxiety, which controls everything, right? And so we have therapists, we have life coaches, we have nutritionists, we have a whole team for veterans. And so we just had an Instagram Live day before yesterday, and we have a past lieutenant. She was a lieutenant. She also had, when she was transitioning, she went through a lot of depression and things coming out, and she also found, like myself and like my battle buddy, just less westernized way of handling our traumas. So instead of the antidepressants that they give us that has a whole other gamut of issues, instead of a lot of the Western medicine, there's other alternatives that can help you. And that's what Veterans of Virtue is in a nutshell. And so we're providing products, services, and information and resources, because if you don't know, you just don't know. If you don't know that there is another way to help you with your heart issue, you just don't know, right? And so like you, and I'm proud of you, because when you come up on information is one thing, but when you activate that information, you put it to use, like, okay, you having some issues, you get some omega, some omega-3s and some things that's going to help you with your heart, right? You find other ways that's going to help you. And so that's what we do, just try to find other holistic ways to help besides the Western medicine that is not only not treating the issue, it's only treating the symptom of the issue. You're still left with the issue, and then it's tacking on 3 or 4 other issues with that, because your body's reacting to that in a certain way. So we're just trying to not only disrupt the suicide rate, but just disrupt the Western thinking of medicine and healing yourself. And so that's what we do in a nutshell. And we're hoping to, just spread awareness and heal our veterans, and holistically healing our heroes is our tagline, because we are doing that. And thank you for always supporting us in doing that too.
Well, I'm gonna say this: I'm looking for something to make me better, and I like to share that with my peers, my veterans, because I know what I went through. I know what kind of transition I didn't make back into the community, and I don't want to see anybody else go through that. Right. And I have been on every kind of psychiatric medicine VA can throw at a veteran that's totally and permanently disabled for PTSD. And a lot of people don't realize that that's a disability. That's a bad behavior disability, whether people want to face it or not. And I know this. I gave my mom a job. Being our only son, she had special attention to me, and she didn't know what to do, but she knew something needed to be done. So she would tell me, "You need to go to the VA. Something wrong with you." Oh man, I don't want to hear my mama. I don't want to hear my mama telling me something wrong with me, because I couldn't. In that state, I could not accept something being wrong with me. I'm a paratrooper. I'm the closest thing to Superman you can get. I know Tracy laughing because we got bad knees, bad backs, and all that other stuff that come with being a paratrooper. But the idea is to equip the families, to know that this product is available. They see the problem because this is their loved one. You're in the house with these folks, right? I could not hide what I was experiencing from my mom because she knew me. This she's looking at me now, but that's the issue with every family. Yeah. And I think especially those families that loved ones eventually commit suicide. They are traumatized by that experience with their loved one. They're caught with this young person was the pride of my family. He went in the military. He was a veteran. He's supposed to be all together. And so the veteran is incapable of saying, "I ain't all together, y'all. Right. You got something else. I need help." We are not capable of doing that when we make that transition because, first of all, we still got some of that military mindset, where you didn't want to go to the sick call because you were seen as being soft, and we have to help our community break through this, and to see. And one of the things that we have to overcome with the Western thinking is that we don't have all of the answers, but we as a community we do. You know, as one or two individuals, we don't have all the answers, but as a community, we do. And I'm so proud of what you guys are doing with your organization, because it takes it a step further. I wish Cassandra was here with her caring about veterans. You know, you have to have a caring to see what you see and understand that you have assembled a kit, you know, which is very simple. I carried it around with me a few days before I took it down, just to make sure that I understand, because I'm reading them. I don't want to take something that's gonna make me go the other way. But you know, when I looked at it, I said, "Oh, this is safe stuff." So I decided to take it. Anything I know, I'm calm. I'm an activist, you know, because that's part of my therapy. Right? If I wasn't doing something positive, I'd be doing something wrong. You know, so we have to understand that PTSD is a bad behavior disorder, and unless we address it, we're gonna have some bad behaviors in the community. I was a bad behavior, you know, and then and every victim of PTSD. Some areas of bad behavior. It destroys relationships. It renders you incapable of maintaining a job or any kind of real positive relationship until you learn to get help. And what makes it so good with your stuff, you ain't got to go to no doctor to be diagnosed. Right. You know, you ain't got to go wait in the line to get it. You got something that you can take yourself, or your mama can give it to you, your sister can give it to you, and it works. Yeah. And that's what we got to focus on as we go forward, especially during this political season where misinformation and lies, it ain't no it ain't no liability. It used to be a liability when people caught you getting misinformation and telling lies, but now it seems to be a fad. Yeah. You know, so we have to make sure that veterans and their families are getting the right information, because sometimes people write us off. They just write us off because you got a mental disorder. You ain't capable of doing nothing. But some of the smartest people I know got mental disorders. I'm sorry to let people know that some of the smartest people I know got PTSD. Yeah. You know, so we have to kind of educate our community, and that it is not the demon that you got when you got a mental disorder. Right. It's a treatable condition. Right. You know, and we got to get that stigma out of the conversation, or we'll never be able to get people to understand that there are some very simple steps and kits that they can get to help their loved ones through the trigger sessions that they go through. And I go through them all day sometimes. You know, you say fighting on one trigger, what in that, because they be coming from everywhere. You talk about the stresses. You know, one of the biggest stresses for veterans is the VA. You know, you go file a claim. You know, they tell you that they're going to do so. You go file a claim, and then you go through all these processes, and they either tell you denied, or they give you a service connection with a 10% or 20%. Right. Which nothing. You know, you look at it, they ain't talking about me. I know for a fact that I'm more than 20%, you know, disabled with this condition, because I'm living with it. So that's a frustration. What makes a lot of veterans, well, I ain't going through that, man. I ain't gonna even go deal with that. And especially, I'm like that as a mental patient, because I know I got to be on guard duty. I got to guard myself. I got to keep myself from being triggered. It's an ugly scene. Nobody wants to deal with that. So we have to have organizations and veterans like yourself putting out remedies that really cut through all the bureaucrat and the red tape and stuff, and say, here, this is some tried. And it works, because you done already went through it. You done already tested it. You already knew it was gonna work on me, because you had did it yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I healed myself of depression, obesity, fibroid, hypothyroid, even suicidal thoughts. You know, coming back home. And I think another thing that we have to take advantage of is peer-to-peer. You know, like. Nobody understands unless they've been through it too, you know. So we can want our families to understand, but if they've never been deployed, if they've never been to war, they kind of just don't really get it as much as love and support they want to give us, you know. So we also do peer-to-peer therapy, where even when I came back home, right, my battle buddy moved from DC to Atlanta so that we can kind of help each other, because we knew we weren't 100% together, you know, and even me, like, people in my family, like, you're crazy. We kept hearing that, and I didn't really know I was crazy until I kept hearing it, and they kept seeing how my behavior was changing, or I'll be triggered by something. But my battle buddy, she didn't judge me on that, because she understood why I had those triggers. She understood why I acted the way I did. And so it's really important for a veteran to rely on other veterans too, because we understand each other, and we could be the therapy that we need, you know. And so we shouldn't underestimate the power that we have to heal each other and to heal ourselves when no one else can, or a family member might not understand what we're going through, you know. So we have each other.
And therein is the challenge, because no one understands. So generally the remedy was to medicate you, you know. And so all of a sudden, not solving the problem, but to medicate the person. And that's the challenge that we have with so many veterans that are, as you say, living under bridges and homeless and having all kinds of conflicts, is because that's all they know. And that's all they're receiving from the VA is medication, and the medication is not solving the problem.
Exactly.
Well,
you know,
it feeds the illicit drug uses as well.
Yes.
Right, if anything,
You know, and that's a good point, Tony, because see, one of the things that we know that alcoholics and drug addicts are self-medicating.
Exactly.
They're self-medicating because, well, the system done told them medication is the way to handle this demon, but the medication that they give them, and I know some of the medication I took, man, was so hard on me.
Yeah.
I was a bad person. It made me really a bad person. And, you know, to the point that my daughter said to me, "Daddy, I'm scared of you. You acting strange." You know, my own child, you know, how bad that can hurt. And you realize that, okay, I do snap. You know, and then I snap on her without any real rationale other than, you know, just trying to express something that I dislike about her behavior. And she might take it because of the tone of my voice or the expression that I'm coming out with because of the PTSD as a criticism, down, putting them down. You know, so we have a real reason to look at this thing from a medical point of view.
Exactly.
From a medical point of view, because if we don't, then we're not going to understand the complexity of a person not wanting to take the drugs that the doctor gives us, and they'll go out and take street drugs.
Right.
Exactly.
And the part of that is the physicians know the side effects, but do they share that information with the veterans? You know, it's saying, you know, you can expect this, and if this happens, this you should do this. You weren't given options. You were just given a drug and not really told the effects and the side effects and the long-lasting effects of that. And so there you are out there as well. You know, I'm going to take another drug, not realizing that's what you're doing. You're taking another drug.
Yeah.
And that drug on top of whatever else you're taking is going to challenge your system and challenge your psyche.
Exactly.
You know, and so if they knew this, they had ways of keeping you informed of it so that you know what you know.
Right.
You know, I guess they expect everybody to read the precautions on the side of the package.
Yeah.
No, because only that is confusing enough. And they're throwing a lot of stuff at you that you don't really understand, in terms that you don't understand, and expect you to rationalize this and process it when you're already going through sensory situations that you aren't handling. You know, and so the VA, and not just the VA, but any doctor that is prescribing that medicine and not informing you and informing your family.
Yeah.
You know,
Sometimes
that's one
they
of those
start at
things
the
where
highest dosage of
Yes.
prescription instead of starting low and then
Right,
going
yeah,
higher. They start
yeah.
at the highest, which is just gonna flip
Right,
all
yeah.
type of stuff within your body, within your brain,
yeah.
and that's jacking up us veterans as well
Right,
too. That
yeah.
nobody's really
Well,
talking
And they
about.
wonder,
I'm gonna
why
tell
are you acting
Why
like
you
this?
tripping?
We're giving you the drugs.
Right.
What? Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a little secret that I know from my experience. A lot of the physicians that are treating us are afraid of us.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that's why they start with the high
Yeah.
doses
Yeah.
because they are afraid. They want to make sure that they impact this condition that they
Yeah, I
feel
can see
like it's frightening to them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can remember seeing therapists with my handcuffs. They wanted me in handcuffs. They didn't want no part of me without.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, it took a while because I had an anger and a propensity for violence that they should have been afraid of me.
Yeah.
You know, because they wasn't treating the condition right, so they absolutely wasn't treating me right.
Right.
So I'm responding to the mistreatment because I'm perceiving that, well, I ain't that bad. Why is this stuff making me feel? And they had me on a Haldol. And
Oh.
right now I'm allergic to Haldol.
Yeah.
You know, because I left the VA hospital because it done twist me around. I'm like I'm like that movie. My neck is turned around.
Yeah.
I can't straighten up. So,
Yeah.
you know, but we need to be aware.
Yes. Yeah.
And our
Exactly.
families need to be aware.
Yes.
Because see, these are the people that has to deal with us when the VA won't. Mm-hmm. You know, they need to be equipped. And we was talking about that today about the caregivers program. Now, I'm of the opinion that every veteran that's 70% or more should be in the caregivers program. Because I think that by getting your family involved with helping you and letting them get paid, it gonna help you live a longer, better life.
Yes.
You know, because I think it will decrease the stress that you have to feel go through when your family know more about what they dealing with. They already gonna deal with you because you're their loved one.
Yeah.
But you know, knowing now that they dealing with a condition that can be managed, and you know, you can be the person that they remembered you as being. So this is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing.
Let me just add just a little bit more to that. The family sees what's going on. The family should be a part of every doctor's visit, particularly when you're on psychiatric drugs that affect your psyche.
Yes.
You know, they need, because they can tell the doctor, this is what he was like, this is what he's doing now, this is what this medication is doing for him. It's not improving, it's causing him to do that. You aren't going to tell the doctor that, and you're the only person that the doctor is listening to. So you need that second person in the room to explain.
What about those that don't have the families?
I know,
That's
yes.
the hard part. They don't
Yeah.
have that support
Yeah.
or that accountability partner to say, hey, did you, go
Yeah.
to the doctor? Did you take your
Right.
whatever,
So
whatever?
that's why we must educate the community. Like,
Right.
You know, am I my brother's keeper?
Yeah.
You know, if I am, let's educate the community. Let's empower the community to, you know, like you say, some of us don't have family, and some of us have family, but that condition just doesn't watch that family relationship to the
Right.
So we got to educate the veteran community to be more of that family.
I said,
Yeah,
and that's
right.
what I'm saying. Peer
Yeah.
to peer, we supporting each other.
We
Yeah.
support
We,
each other.
we're that family nucleus for
Yeah.
those that don't have that.
Right, exactly.
And so support groups.
Yeah.
Support groups would really help because it would give you that opportunity and everything.
Now,
And
I'm gonna say this. They used to do that at the vet centers.
Yeah.
They used to do that. The groups that they had was more of a support group than what the VA tried to do with rap groups and therapy. Well, I got in there. You had a bunch of wall stories. I don't want to be in no wall stories, you know. So because you got people in there jockeying to try to impress the therapists that their condition is. You know, I don't want to be in that kind of group.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it aggravates my condition, which is real.
Real,
You know, I
yeah.
got real problems. I
Yeah.
need real help. I don't need to be in there talking with a bunch of guys, you know, that because one of them they wasn't in no fire. He was in the camp and you know and all that kind of stuff. I can't deal with that.
Yeah. but then that's a part of the recovery, and having a therapist to recognize that fact. Say, you know, this is not the type of group for you. You need more one-on-one situations. So,
I need
that's what that's what the VA is getting this money for, to help people in situations like that.
See, they're putting it more into staffing
Yeah.
and into family.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about the family. The caregivers program is a good step in the right direction. Don't go far enough, but I think it opens up, you know, the door for more family involvement with the individual conditions that they're going through. Because in order to get the caregivers, you got to say, I can't cook, I can't wash my clothes anymore, and you know, that makes the family come in there and do what they're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
They do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, now they're getting a little stipend for it, and they're kind of wrapped into your condition. And I think this is the right step in the right direction. So what we got to do is find a way to get funding to get these packages in the community, because I think there should be things that we should be able to just have people talking to somebody we recognize, somebody say, listen, can you help that take the package, try this, you know, because they need, you know, because some of them ain't going to the VA, to the doctor,
Right.
you know, until they get better.
Right.
You know, they done been to the VA, to the doctor, and they ain't going back. You know, I know guys that won't go
to the VA. I will avoid it at all costs. That's why I just try to heal myself or any kind of preventative care, because I already know the trip to the VA is an all-day thing. It's most of the time not productive, or it's just something that I probably could have did at home anyway.
And you know, now let's twist this a little bit. I want to take this another step, because you know, I asked this question, and I've been asking this question, do veteran votes matter? And they don't matter to anybody else until they matter to us. We got to make our votes matter. We got to be able to identify politicians that's going to champion our cause and build them up and support them. And identify politicians that's serving in a way that suppresses cause the government to avoid dealing with our causes and our issues. And we got a lot of that. Yeah. So we got to do what we're doing, Tony, going out, matching with other organizations in the community. We go to their fairs, you know, we show up, you know, to be a part, to let them know we're veterans and we doing this over on this side of town. And sometimes we finding out we're in the same community, you know, and not even knowing that we in the same community, focusing on the same group. We should network.
Right.
We got to continue this networking in order to make sure that the message for benefits is getting to all of the community. You know, if you get it in all the community, it become a conversation piece where when they see a homeless veteran, they don't turn up their nose, they turn up their concern.
Right.
Why is this guy homeless? Is he or her not getting the help that they deserve? And this is an underlying cause. Now, we got to sensitize the governments to us in the community as well. We started with the city. We made some inroads with the city of Atlanta. They listened to us a little bit. We made some inroads with Fulton County. And what we've learned, though, in those inroads we made them with the legislation, but not with the administration.
Yes.
And that's where things fell apart, when it got to the administration of the law, of the benefits. And I'm dealing with a situation that you're dealing with, Tisha, as a homeowner in the city of Atlanta. Did some research on your stuff, and I'm highly pissed with the city of Atlanta right now.
That's how I felt. Because so last week when we had the guest, right, and you know, she was talking about benefits for veterans and tax benefits for veterans and all that good stuff, and I got excited. I've been a homeowner about a year now, and the taxes are high, and I said, okay, I could get a little tax break as a veteran, you know, even as I guess you could say disabled veteran, 60% disabled veteran. And you know, I went down there, tried to talk to it, and they don't even acknowledge us if you're not 100% total and disabled. You get nothing at all. And that got me upset because I'm like, well, I earned it, did I not? I fought in 2 wars for this country, and I can't even get a little tax break on my house.
Well, see, the way they do that is to separate us in the veteran community. Now, anybody that's 60%, I could probably get them to 100% really easy because they cross the threshold. It's unfortunate that the VA administrators have called the shots in developing all of the legislation that we get. I'm gonna give you for example. Right now, the media is full of lawyers talking about Camp Lejeune.
Oh, yeah.
And the internet. We don't get paid till you get paid. You've been already paid.
Yeah.
The form is already set up there. You can go there as a veteran without a lawyer with a diagnosis, and they're gonna pay you for your injury. See, they doing Camp Lejeune the same thing they did with Agent Orange.
Exactly.
You know, there was a settlement set up for Agent Orange with Dow Jones Chemicals. I think it was about $250 billion.
Right.
I mean, $1 million, and the lawyers took it all. And I remember one of my peers who I was in Vietnam with died. He got $2,500 before, but that was out of that $2,500, and he died from exposure to Agent Orange. And this is why we was fighting to make the Agent Orange law. And they had the suit part of it, and then they had the benefits part.
Yeah.
So. We got the same thing going on with Camp Lejeune, and they exploit veterans at every step unless we start speaking out. What the Marines need to do is step back for a minute and read the law, understand what they got going on, and it's a big settlement pool. They didn't already settle with the Department of Defense. They're gonna pay these guys that got a diagnosis of a condition that resulted from the contaminated water. They can go straight to the VA and get the check.
Yep.
They don't have to go through no lawyer. You know, but the lawyer gonna do it because they get a percentage of the stuff.
Yep.
And this is what we need to be talking about: how these lawyers coming in exploiting us when we get in the benefits process.
Yep.
You know, we need to look at that because that's taking money out of your family's mouth.
Exactly.
It's taking money from you. That's your money, your earning.
Right. Yes.
And you know, when people say, "Well, why you help folks for free?" I'm just helping folks to get that what's theirs.
Yeah.
So why should I be a merchant with that? You know, if I'm a servant, I can't be a merchant and a servant at the same time. You know, so we got to get these profit. Well, that's all the private pimps out of the way. You know, that's why we can't do away with homelessness. You know, they're getting all this money for homelessness, and these folks are still homeless.
Exactly.
And then we got this situation. Let's get back to your stuff. Well, they got so much administrative BS going on in the community that you got a bureaucrat that can fine a citizen without due process of law. See, one of the things that in your cases, I'm still doing the legal research because when I write them, I want to knock them out because the guy went about coming up with a fine without laying a basis for the fine, a true basis for the fine. Because if you're talking about destruction or damage, you got to show the damage. You know, you got to show a real damage to the tree. You can't say it might have caused that because of the treatment technique that you was using, because the city recommends that people try to save the trees. You know, how did they know what you was doing wasn't to save the trees? That was your motive.
Yeah.
So the fine, you know, it acts as a this guy did a, you know, judge, jury, and executioner kind of thing when he should have stopped and, you know, laid the basis for the charge. You know, this tree is actually damaged, and it was caused by what you did, and you got to identify the tree. He didn't do that. You know, he's saying that what you use caused damages to the trees, but what damages did he show? What is the evidence? He didn't show none. That's called, you know, in order for you to be fined, you got to have committed a offense.
Right.
And in order to have an offense under law, you got to be informed of that offense, specifically told what you've been fined for. They find you without on just a general charge from a bureaucrat that has. I don't know whether the guy had enough understanding of what he was doing under city regs. Now they got regs that they had to follow. So I done Googled all of them, and I'm studying all of them, because if they could do that to you, they could do that to any veteran. And I think that nobody in the city of Atlanta want to do that to a veteran. I don't think they want to do that, and we're gonna make sure that they don't do that. You know, because if you gonna serve to make sure that we got laws that they need to make sure that they are equally applied to you. They didn't do that. You know, unless they're gonna come up with some other evidence. You know, if they come up with some other evidence where they done told you this tree right here was damaged, and they got evidence that the tree was damaged, they way out of pocket. They way out of pocket. I'm thinking that they're so far out of pocket, you might have a suit against the city.
Yeah, I would think so.
You know, so we doing the research. When we come out. We coming out to win. We ain't coming out to fight.
They just, you know, everything just showed me that, like, a lot of the, like you said, we have to get politicians that are gonna champion for us. You know, because a lot of people just don't care. They don't care about us, really. And it's just gonna take us to rally for ourselves enough and getting the people that do care about us in those offices, in those spaces. Because they're the ones that are putting those people in place that are doing things like that to veterans, you know, and it's just
this is so vague. It don't make sense. I mean, you don't just find somebody without showing that they have damaged something. He got to show the way you did actual damage. He didn't find you because he say you did some damage.
Right. And there was none.
Now I'm looking at the stuff that the department recommend. They recommend that on private property you do things to try to save the tree. How did he know that what you did wasn't doing that?
Didn't save it.
Yeah.
How do you know he didn't?
See, that's what's so messed up about your stuff, and it bothers me because this is a bureaucrat, low level bureaucrat that an inspector really. If you just look at it, he's an inspector. Or she, whatever it is that did this fine. The basis for the fine is unfound and in violation of due process rights. You know, and if they're gonna take away our rights, what do the average citizens stand?
Exactly.
They don't stand a chance.
Right.
You know, they don't stand a chance because see, we're the one that did this. You know, and kept it. We kept it. You know, we were true to the end. If we hadn't been, you wouldn't have an honorable discharge.
Right.
You know, so we need to make sure that we're getting people out of our community that's gonna keep that oath of service when they go to office.
Right.
And that oath of service meaning if you're gonna charge somebody with something, make sure you charge them right. You know that's due process. You just because you got a position where you can do that.
And what is the scale of like how did you get this number?
Yeah.
What is the scale? What is?
I mean, first of all, you got to show damages.
Right.
You gotta, and that fine gotta equate to the damages. It can't be seen like the city is raising money, and that's what I thought right then.
It is because
I didn't want to say that, but it looked like it. It looked like
what
it,
else
right?
would it be? Because how was that fine? If I pay that, how was I going to help any of those trees or anything on my land?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a fine without a basis, though. That's what bothers me with it. I'm trying to figure out. I first said, "What she do to the trees?"
Nothing. Nothing.
So
I guess people are a little.
I'm going at my research.
Context.
I'm going at my research like I'm really looking for a crime here. I'm looking for the evidence of the crime. I get into the case, like when I got into trace and stuff, I said, man, these folks don't know how to do the law. They do it the way they want to do it. You know, they don't care nothing about Tracy, I'm gonna show you something about PTSD, right? I'm gonna show you the scale what they're supposed to be using, so you'll see why I keep talking about that. They got a scale in the VA that tell you each level of what you gonna do or what it looks like for to be rated. And see, that's why I tell people it's important what these doctors put in your records or not put in your records, the medicals. These are called the medicals. You know, they're so bad at it that sometimes they did something to me recently that left me shaking my head. I was wounded in 1968. In 2022, the VA on its own decided to give me TBI. Almost 60 years after I was wounded. They raised the claim. I didn't raise it. Don't you think they should back pay me?
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's been now since I mean, the evidence that they use, they pull up this claim. You know, the VA can file a claim for you if they see something in your record that warrants a claim, right? So I said, TBI, I said, I ain't been treated for no TBI. I ain't never been treated, I ain't been diagnosed for it. They diagnosed me and gave me 40%.
What's TBI?
For TBI. I ain't never been treated for it.
What is that? What is that?
Traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
It comes from being wounded. I was wounded. I had head injury, Trey, in 1968. So in 2022,
wow.
In 2022, the VA said, "Oh, well, you got wounded in that, and you got TBI, boy." I ain't never been treated for it. I had never been diagnosed for it until they did. They could have did it back then. The information was in the record. There should be some kind of way that they, you see what I'm saying? Absolutely. But they keep playing with us because we're electing the wrong people. That's why I keep asking, do veterans vote matter?
Yep.
You know, I mean, it shocked me. I'm saying, I ain't saying nothing though. I mean, I know they were dealing with the evidence of record, but since they came up with TBI in 2015.
7 years ago.
That's when they finally made it
7 years.
a part of the record from because them guys in Afghanistan and that war, they were getting head injuries like crazy, man. Because them, you know, you see a car, I know you go off. You know?
Parked car on the highway. Yeah.
So they, you know, I mean, I'm just saying how the VA know that they can apply law in your case and don't. You know, they just sit there. Now, whatever reason somebody saw this stuff in my records at this time in my life, they just say, okay, well, you got TBI. I said, TBI? I had to go look it up. Oh, yeah, I did get one. Yeah, they got it in my, they put it in the claim. You got wounded and blah, blah, blah. And y'all know I've been wounded.
Right, it's been there.
It's been there. Why not? You know why? Because Trump privatized the VA. The people that did this was outside of the VA. There were some people that didn't know what they were doing. They looked at that. So they had to tell the VA. They exposed the VA. They told the VA it was there, so the VA went along with it because it's part of the contract. It's part of the contract. I went to 7 exams in less than 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
They were right behind each other. All out in the suburbs. See, veterans should know VA has a duty it's VA duty to notify and assist. If they read your records, anytime it's under review, and they see something in that record that might be of benefit to you, they're supposed to tell you right then. So that's why I thought about it. I said, Lord, don't let me be selfish. I said, sue these folks, go back in there and make them. You owe me some back pay since you brought it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say.
You know, you brought it up. And I thought about that. And I just let it slide because they gave me 40%. They gave me 40% for TBI.
But who says that's enough? What if you're supposed to get 60? How do they scale that? How do they measure that?
Listen, they didn't care. They didn't care. They didn't know that I gotta give him something. He ain't gonna talk about it.
Yep.
They didn't know I was we talk about everything.
Yeah.
Because see, if they overlook stuff in my record, what about the rest of the veterans?
Oh yeah, you're just one of.
I'm just one of a million.
Yes.
And we need to be able to talk about this stuff because, listen, I thank them for the 40%. You know, I mean, I don't, like I told the reviewer, I said, man, the last time I had one of them kind of headaches that I was complaining about, I said, that's when I found out I got brain tumors. Because one of the tumors had got in my sinuses and it was causing me to have headaches, right? I said, so they removed the tumor from my nostrils, and I ain't had no headache since. They still gave me 40%. So you see what kind of discretion that they have in the claim process? We need to tell everybody. Everybody need to know. Because these people are playing with our benefits. I'm talking about, you got the legislation there that they're supposed to give it to you, but they got an administration that's buried with bureaucracy that'll take it from you with the stroke of a pen.
Yep.
Right.
This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you tuned into every Saturday afternoon. And today we've been here doing some stuff that I've been wanting to do. I've been wanting to talk about this package. Why do I want to talk about the package? I live off of Cleveland Avenue. It's rough over here. I mean, if you want to see some mental illnesses, come to my section of town. It hurt me sometimes. You know, to see young folks in the streets, you know, with mental episodes. You can tell it's mental, because they might start dancing in the streets and all kind of stupid stuff, man. And I said, we need help. And the medical industry, if you ain't got no insurance, they don't want to see it.
Here. Right.
They don't care. And we got to find a way to get help for the community. And I know that package will help. It will at least help them get stabilized so they'll go get some help. You know, so a lot of times that's all they need, a little stabilization, so they can see that, yeah, I got a problem. Because I got a cousin that he don't believe he got a mental problem. I tell him all the time.
You don't know. If you don't know, that's telling you that you're crazy.
You need to be on disability. He think I'm joking with him because I say it in a funny way, but I'm serious. You know, I mean, he's good as gold, but go from A to Z to a heartbeat. You know, this boom. Like, well, wait a minute, bro. He already out there. You ain't got no business doing yourself like that. But if you got a mental illness and you ain't got no help, that makes you a danger to the community, a danger to yourself. So that's why people in our community are afraid of it. They don't want to talk about it. Because, you know, they got people that got loved ones in their home and they know they're mental, but they ain't gonna say it. Because they know that person gonna get upset. Cause I used to get upset with my mom. She tell me, you going to the VA. I know I got to go to the VA because I'm not finna talk back to my mama.
Right.
But I didn't want to go to no VA, but she gonna track me. She was a tracker. she gonna make sure I went to the VA. When I go out there and they tell me, hey, well, you all right, you cool. I go and she said, I don't care what the folks say. You got some issues you would need some help with. And it wasn't until I started getting the help that she stopped pressing me. And we need every family member to press their loved one back. She was trying to save me, you know, because, well, I was a child, and she watching this stuff. She watching this behavior. When we see that in our loved ones, we suffer. I can't tell you how many times I left my mom crying because I wasn't getting the help that she knew I needed.
Yeah.
You know, so this is the same thing that's going on in families today. It's no different, just a different time. You know, they see their loved ones suffering, and some of them, because they're afraid of mental illnesses, they won't say nothing.
Yeah.
They get shut up and get in that corner and watch their loved ones suffer. You know, we're making a difference. I ain't saying we got to make a difference, Tony. I mean, we're making a difference. You know, you guys being here every day and this conversation that we're having, and one day the audience is gonna be full. You know, we ain't gonna just have Kenny and Tracy. You know, because other people are gonna see the value of what we're talking about. Because you know, we were talking about the PAC Act this morning at the membership meeting, and we were talking about getting that PAC Act amended because of it left out Augusta, Georgia. I talk about Augusta. If you Google it, Augusta have more cancer diagnosis than any other city in the state.
Is that because of Fort Benning there?
No, because of Fort Gordon.
Fort Gordon, yeah.
That's where the Agent Orange was tested, stored, and transported. But it's not on the PAC law. Why? Why did they leave all these military bases out in this country?
Yeah.
They got to straighten that up. Because the veterans that served on them military bases were serving in the military just like me. They just didn't go to Vietnam because that wasn't part of their order. They served where they was ordered to serve. And we shouldn't let nobody deny them their benefits because of that. One off, you need to amend. I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening. We need an amendment to that law. Okinawa, Fort Gordon, several Air Force bases, you know, Navy bases. We know they handled it. They didn't jump out of Dow Jones and fly to Vietnam on its own. People had to pick it up, carry it to the plane or to the boat, load it on there, and they don't want to recognize it. They're not recognizing it. These people are dying, they're getting sick. Kenny case, I like to talk about it because they confessed in Kenny case, they gave him a pension. They gave him a pension 100% total and permanent, but they wouldn't recognize that he was exposed to Agent Orange at Fort Gordon. The only reason they wouldn't because the VA ain't recognizing it. The Congress has to make them do that. We need the law amended.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We need the PAC law amended. All they got to do is take it back up there. We need to do it while the iron is hot, though. Before Election Day. Before November, we need the PAC law amended. We need these brothers that been serving in these places where they was exposed, recognized and treated equal under the law. They're not being treated equally under the laws. So we got to do this again, teach. We got to preach. I keep messing your name up.
So you're the only one
Say
that get away
it
with
again. Trish. I keep messing it up. But we had to keep doing this. We can't stop. You know, that's why I appreciate Tony so much because he's here every Saturday pushing it. And Tony, I need you to close it out today with what we're doing with the Sons of Atlanta and the ball that we're going to have.
On Saturday, this coming Saturday, October 8th, a month later, October 8th, we're celebrating the veterans in the Atlanta area. We're celebrating veterans. this is so important at this time because there are so many things that are going on, particularly veterans dealing with health challenges and everything, and those people in the community who are working for their benefits need to be recognized and celebrated. Yeah. And so that is the purpose of this ball that is happening on October the 8th, starting roughly around 5 o'clock with a meet and greet, and then moving on into the actual program and food and just casual entertainment for the rest of the evening. So it's an excellent opportunity for veterans to be honored and the community to honor those veterans also for the work that is being done for the benefit of veterans. And we just don't do that enough. And one of the things about this particular one, first annual. This is the first, and it will not be the last. That's right. And of course, as we progress, we're going to have more and more opportunities to do this in the future, because we're going to honor those veterans and see that they need to be recognized. We're going to honor those members of the community who aren't veterans that need to be recognized. So that is the purpose, and that is what's going on. Yeah. Okay. Let me slide my little.
Okay, go ahead.
Veterans. Of course, as most of you are familiar, but if you're not, we're building this memorial in Piedmont Park. Mm-hmm. And I came up with a thought pattern of an idea. Yes, these veterans who paid the ultimate price are recognized on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. for veterans. But what we want to do here in Atlanta is to bring those guys home. We want their names here in the city, in the county of Fulton County, where they lived, grew up, thrived, to be permanently memorialized in one of Atlanta's most visited parks. So here's an opportunity for those of us in the community to recognize those, to become donors, to become contributors, to become purchasers of bricks, as a part of this memorial that we're creating here in the city of Atlanta.
Yeah. Tony, the thing with what you just said, people don't realize that we have brought this project from a vision to now being a reality. This is historic.
Yes.
This is historic. This has never been done before. Nowhere in the city of Atlanta have they ever recognized a person that died in military service from this city. But we're not just talking about the city of Atlanta. We're talking about the whole county of Fulton. 9 different cities. Never did anything together before. All coming together in Piedmont Park on this project. So this is a unity building project, and we're not just talking about a memorial in Piedmont Park. We are going into the community centers and the libraries in the community and teach people about military service and help them get benefits and resources as they need it in the community. And I want to just shout out to College Park. Mayor, she gave us the access to her community center, and she's actually going to be working with advertising us in the community for her veterans. This is where we're going.
Yes.
This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. We'll be back next Saturday, same time, same place, doing the same thing with a different twist. We're gonna bring some people on. I was trying to get DIC on today, but we didn't. We will have her next week. We want to talk with some people that are going through the process right now, so that veterans can recognize what we're looking at. November is coming. We need to make our vote count for something. Good evening. See you next week. Thank you.